Hello, Arizona. I want to talk to you today a little bit about Arizona's Constitution and the dilemma in which our education system is. Brought about basically by those in office well over 100 years ago when they allowed the Board of Education to be run like it's the know-all, be-all, and say-all of our education system. But before I go on with this, I want to share something with all of you. This coming Saturday, that's November the 6th, there's a Republican Club meeting, Sun City West Republican Club. We'll meet at the Church on the Green. That's at Echo Mesa, or no, Camino del Sol and R.H. Johnson in Sun City West. It's the corner where Walgreens sits. All you have to do is look behind Walgreens, you'll see the church. The meeting starts at 8:30 Saturday morning. That's November the 6th. The doors open at 8:30, meeting starts around 9. It only takes a couple hours. I hope to see a lot of you there who haven't come in the past from LD 22. That's all the way from 51st Avenue and Bell Road on the north side of the street, all the way outside of Surprise. And if they do what it looks like they're going to do, that will also include the community of Sun City Festival. So if you're all north of Bell Road, and those who are south of Bell Road, once you cross Grand Avenue or you cross the bridge in Surprise, both sides then up to Grand and across, and when you cross over Grand Avenue, then both sides of Bell Avenue are also in the LD 22, soon to be 29. We'd really like to see you there. A lot of interesting subjects are covered. You'd be surprised, we have some really good candidates to come and speak. I'm also inviting you there for what many people would consider a selfish reason. We're running for the Arizona Senate, as many of you know. And we're working on getting fives. That's $5 donations for clean elections. They match our funds. For the $1,250 we need to turn in, they match it with over $17,000. And this money is gotten by taking a percentage of all DUIs and other types of tickets and putting it into a fund so average people can actually run against the career politicians, incumbents, who get most of their 95% of their money from dark money. Lobbyists, special interest groups, etc. It's really hard to run against these people. And if you've ever wondered why your state, county, federal, city governments are the way they are, that's why. So I'm inviting you to that meeting. But I do want to talk to you about Arizona education, which is a mess. We are now becoming a very growing state. Have been for some time, but it seems to be getting, it's kind of like on steroids now, with all the people leaving other states and coming here. And we need to do something about the education in this state to bring it up from the very bottom closer to the top 10. If we really expect our young people to have a future. Because according to the former Superintendent of Public Instruction and Attorney General Tom Horne, many employers in Arizona don't even look at the diplomas, high school diplomas of our students as being worth the paper they're written on. Because you are graduating people that can't read, can't do math, can barely spell. That's not a good thing. We need to improve our education in Arizona for our children. I've got a plan to do this, and I know most legislators now in office, including a lot of people running for office for that Superintendent of Public Instruction's job, don't even realize that it's the state legislature, the Senate and the House, that write the laws, are supposed to write the laws, so that Arizona's educational system is uniform from kindergarten all the way through the universities. Arizona state law prohibits the state from funding any type of preschool. That's being brought about by the federal government. For anybody who questions this, all they have to do is look at Article 11, Section 2, and they'll see it. Nowhere in there does it say that policy-making authority or duties are given over to the executive school board. That was something the legislators did way back in the beginning of the state to turn it into more of a collectivist state than a republic. And it's something we need to correct because they've circumvented it without ever changing the Constitution. And I know many people that hold office in the legislature, in the House, and the Senate like it this way because then they're not accountable for what's going on in education. They say it's a local issue. We don't do that. That's up to the superintendents and the school boards, not up to us. That's just not true. The problem is most of them don't know it because they're going on what everybody else has ever done. And most of them I don't really think want to know it. I know a lot of them have constitutions. I don't know that they ever read them, federal or state. Because if they did, their votes don't make any sense. Like this last mandate, they voted to mandate no masks, and they attached it to a reconciliation bill, which the Arizona Constitution forbids you doing. You can't put any legislation, any statutory legislation, in a reconciliation bill. And then they wonder why they lost in the Supreme Court. They cost us millions of dollars in court fees, or whatever it costs. And they lost. And they should have. If you want to do something, change the law. But then the little sneak games you guys play at the middle of the night wouldn't happen. But the legislators I've talked to said the reason they went along with this was because there was no way they could get it passed otherwise. So you violate your oath in the Constitution because you can't get it passed legally. You sound like a damn Democrat. You know, at least they have the last part of their word right, rat. Like Republic rats. I don't call them rhinos, I call them Republic rats. Because they have no regard for the truth. You know, resist all truth speech. Or reject all truth speech. That's really what a rat is. And rats, whether people realize it or not, in the old days got on ships, as they still do, and used to eat the wood away. Okay? Used to eat the wood away until they actually would cause the ship eventually to sink. A cabin boy back in those days was well respected because their main duty was one thing and one thing only, to seek out and destroy all the rats on board so the ship would have a successful journey. Most people don't know that either. We have a lot of rats in the Republican Party and we need to remove them. Some of those rats are just pure lazy. They don't read legislation. They don't understand the laws. They vote for things they never should. You've got some who vote against the Republican form of government constantly, and the excuse is that, well, we try to get along with them. They are Republicans, and we kind of kiss up to them to hopefully get their vote, and then they don't get it. My recommendation is really very simple. Put up people to run against them in their districts, whether it's LD 20 or 21 or 22 or whatever district it is, 19, 35, doesn't matter to me, and remove them. Remove them. You don't kiss up to people that don't abide by the rules. The Constitution, the Republican platform, doing what's good for the people, educating our children in a proper manner where they can get jobs when they are done. They don't have to go back to another school to get secondary education again, to learn how to read or write or spell or do math. This has to stop, but it's up to all of us to stop it. You can't stop it if you don't take part in voting and supporting people who are willing to stop it. I happen to be willing to stop it. I believe I understand, have quite a working, say, fundamental understanding of the Arizona and the federal Constitution, and will rely on people who I know more than I do to make sure I never vote for a bill in any way, shape, manner, or form that violates those constitutions, period. If it isn't in compliance with the Constitution, that we all take an oath to preserve, protect, and defend, then if you vote for that kind of bill, you're actually undermining the very form of government we're supposed to have. I don't believe that's what voters are voting for. Even though a lot of voters don't read the Constitution and understand it, they understand the basic principles of freedom, freedom of speech, the right to assemble, the right to vote if you're a U.S. citizen, the right to participate in these things if you're a U.S. citizen. And if you're not, get the hell out of the room. I don't want to hear from you. If you haven't taken the time to become a citizen, or if you came to the country illegally, I don't want to hear from you. The Constitution says citizens have a right to vote. I always say your vote is your voice. If you aren't going to vote, you don't really have a voice. You're just a spectator. You're not on the field playing. You're not the coach in the team. You're just a spectator, possibly even a tailgater. So just get out of the way and let those of us who were born citizens, of legal citizens, in other words, our parents were citizens, or at least one of them was, and hopefully the other one was in the country legally, that is a citizen. People that are born in this country that are not born as citizens, constitutionally are not citizens, any more than someone who's a, let's say, an ambassador from France, and him and his wife have a baby. That child is not a U.S. citizen. because it's whole citizenship in another country. You can't have dual citizenship that way. You're not supposed to. Our founders didn't want it. They didn't trust it. They want all loyalties to be to one country only. But understand something. It's the undermining of the constitutional laws that we're supposed to be governed by that have got us in this trouble. Just like these so-called Emergency Powers Acts. They're all illegal. They are illegal. The churches never should have went along with not going to church, not assembling to worship, ever. That order violated their First Amendment rights. They violated your First Amendment rights when they told you couldn't even go to a park for a family picnic. This is how bad this government has got, federal and state, and yes, even in counties and cities. California or LA is now going to pass a law where they'll give a family that makes under a certain level of income, I think it's $55,000, whatever it is, $1,000 every month extra. Chicago is going to give them $500. But as soon as they run out of their China virus money, which will be about 2 years, then they're going to have to find a way to tax citizens to pay these people that money. This is socialism, communism actually. So if you want to fight back, then join me in this. Stop voting for people, no matter what office they seek, that believe the Arizona School Board is the know-all, be-all, and say-all of our educational system. That's a damn lie. It's not true, never has been true, isn't supposed to be true. Number two, the federal government has no business in our educational system. It was never handed over to them in the first writing of the Constitution, and it's never been amended. Oh, they open up departments and agencies all the time. That doesn't mean they have constitutional authority to tell us how to raise our children or educate them. They don't. There are a lot of other issues that Arizona needs to fix to get the federal government out of our state, like the Bureau of Land Management. I'll be talking about this pretty soon too. But once again, Sun City West is having a Republican meeting this coming Saturday, the 6th of November. The doors open at 8:30 at Church on the Green. That's right behind the Walgreens at Camino del Sol and R.H. Johnson in Sun City West. So I'm inviting everybody from LD22 or anywhere else to join us Saturday morning, 8:30. I think you'll enjoy it. And maybe some of you can come and give me a signature for a petition or a $5 donation so I can have enough money to run against the incumbent career politician I'm running against. All right? Once again, I want to thank you. Remember, pray for me and my wife. We pray for you. Pray for all freedom-loving Americans. Those who don't love freedom don't need our prayers. They need our sympathy. And they need to be convicted of the, shall we say, sins in their lives. And the one sin is to try to take away the freedoms we have. This is good against evil. Because when you want to do that, you are the mere representation of evil. That's what you are, no matter whether you like it or not. Once again, God bless you. See you again soon. Remember, I'll be back. Bye now.